Ever wondered what happens when a philosopher lives in a barrel, declares God is dead, and asks so many questions you'd wish for a mute button? Buckle up. We're diving into the crazy, chaotic, and oh-so-relevant ideas of Diogenes, Nietzsche, and Socrates, and how their wild thoughts can still change the way you think today. The great philosophers, how Diogenes, Nietzsche, and Socrates made us rethink life. Throughout history, we've encountered some truly insane philosophers. From Diogenes, the original minimalist who lived in a barrel, to Nietzsche, who declared, God is dead. Don't worry, he was just having a bad day. And Socrates, who spent his life asking questions so annoying you'd almost wish for a mute button. These thinkers didn't just stir the pot, they flipped the whole kitchen upside down. Each one of them challenged the norms of their time, sparked chaos, and left a legacy that still makes us ponder the big questions in life today. So, what can we learn from these philosophical rebels? Let's take a closer look at Diogenes, Nietzsche, and Socrates, the three amigos of philosophical mayhem, and how their ideas continue to shape our thoughts and lives today. And trust me, we'll do it with a bit of humor, because as the Stoics like to remind us, life is too short to take too seriously. Diogenes, the man who lived in a barrel, literally. Let's start with Diogenes, who might just be the most extra minimalist of all time. Diogenes didn't believe in the usual comforts of life. In fact, he took minimalism to such extremes that he decided living in a barrel was a better option than a fancy house. Yes, you heard that right, a barrel. Talk about commitment to the cause. But here's the kicker. Diogenes wasn't just living in a barrel because he was trying to be edgy. He was making a philosophical statement about the nature of happiness, freedom, and societal expectations. Diogenes rejected the idea that material wealth, power, or status should define us. He believed that living simply, free from the burden of unnecessary things, was the path to true happiness. Now, let's bring this to a modern context. We live in a society where success is often measured by how much stuff we accumulate. Bigger houses, fancier cars, the latest gadgets. We're constantly chasing after the next shiny object. But in the grand scheme of things, what does all of it really add to our lives? Diogenes might have answered that question by saying, nothing. It only weighs you down. We can all learn from Diogenes' radical simplicity. In a world that encourages us to constantly chase after more, Diogenes reminds us that less can often be more. By cutting through the noise and focusing on what truly matters, our relationships, our health, and our sense of peace, we can find true fulfillment. So, how much stuff do you really need to be happy? Maybe it's time to take a page from Diogenes' book and simplify. Nietzsche, God is dead, and other bad days. Next up, we have Nietzsche, the philosopher who caused a lot of waves with his infamous declaration, God is dead. Now, before you start thinking this is a horror movie plot or some wild rant from a disgruntled philosopher, let's slow down for a second. What Nietzsche was actually talking about wasn't some literal death of a deity. He was addressing the decline of traditional values in the modern world. As society became more secular and scientific, the old structures of meaning, religious beliefs, moral frameworks, began to lose their grip. Nietzsche saw this as both a problem and an opportunity. On one hand, Nietzsche recognized that the loss of these traditional values could lead to nihilism, a belief that life has no inherent meaning or purpose. But on the other hand, he saw this as an invitation to create our own values, to become the creators of our own meaning in life. This is where his famous concept of the Übermensch, or Superman, comes in, the idea that we can transcend conventional morality and live a life of individual greatness, free from external constraints. Now, Nietzsche wasn't suggesting that we should all go out and live like rock stars with no regard for others. He was advocating for a life of boldness, courage, and authenticity, where we take responsibility for our own values and create a life that is truly our own. It's about pushing past the conventional, the safe, and the expected in order to live a life that challenges the status quo and embraces our full potential. In today's world, where we're constantly bombarded with messages telling us who we should be, what we should want, and how we should live, Nietzsche's philosophy is a wake-up call. It's a reminder to question the norms, to break free from the herd mentality, and to live authentically. What are the values that truly matter to you? Are you living according to your own standards, or are you just following the crowd? Socrates, the annoying guy who asked too many questions. And finally, we come to Socrates, the philosopher who's often seen as the father of Western philosophy. But let me tell you, this guy could be really annoying. Socrates didn't just go around giving lectures and dropping knowledge. No, he spent most of his time asking questions. And not just any questions, but the kind that made you think, why didn't I think of that? Socrates' method of questioning, known as the Socratic method, is a cornerstone of modern education and critical thinking. He believed that through asking probing questions, we could arrive at a deeper understanding of the truth. The problem was, he didn't always stop at the easy questions. He'd keep digging and digging, exposing contradictions, challenging assumptions, and forcing you to rethink everything you thought you knew. He'd drive you crazy with questions like, what is justice? What is virtue? What is the purpose of life? And honestly, sometimes you'd wish he had a mute button, but that was Socrates' genius. By pushing us to question everything, he helped lay the foundation for modern philosophy and critical thinking. He didn't just want to give you answers. He wanted you to find your own answers by questioning the world around you. In today's world, where it's so easy to fall into routines and accept things at face value, Socrates' method is more relevant than ever. How often do we stop to question our assumptions, our beliefs, and the systems we live in? Socrates teaches us that true wisdom comes from a willingness to constantly question, to challenge the status quo, and to seek deeper truths. So what are the big questions in your life? Are you willing to dig deeper and explore them? The legacy of these philosophers. So, what do Diogenes, Nietzsche, and Socrates have in common? They all challenged the norms of their time, sparked chaos, and left legacies that still resonate today. Their ideas weren't just radical, they were revolutionary. They questioned everything from the nature of happiness and freedom to the existence of God and the meaning of life. They forced us to rethink our assumptions, to challenge the status quo, and to live more thoughtfully. But beyond their radical ideas, these philosophers also offer us something valuable, a reminder to live authentically, to question what we're told, and to embrace simplicity and freedom. In a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming, their teachings offer us a way to find peace and purpose in our own lives. What's your philosophical take? Now, here's the million-dollar question. Which of these philosophers resonates with you the most? Are you more like Diogenes, living simply and rejecting the excesses of modern life? Or are you like Nietzsche, pushing boundaries and creating your own path in life? Or maybe you're more like Socrates, constantly questioning and seeking deeper truths? Whatever the case, the key takeaway is this. Philosophy isn't just some dusty old field of study. It's a tool for living a better life. By learning from these great minds, we can find ways to navigate the complexities of the modern world and live more authentically. So, ask yourself, what would Diogenes do? What would Nietzsche say? And how would Socrates challenge you? Take a moment to reflect on the big questions in your life and see where your philosophical journey takes you. Watch more videos and subscribe for more wisdom.